what's the big idea for Cohere?
The big idea for Cohere. So like we really fortunate, like during the pandemic we get into retail. We had the chance to run our retail store, but it was extremely hard, to be honest. Like as independent small business owners, it was really costly with all the people and stuff. So I just had this dream, like if I could have an assistant that knows everything, that helps me to do the sourcing and enhance our partnership with brands, that would be awesome. But there are actually a lot of tools that help you to like read the data, and also like help you find the brands. But like I don't really know why like all these platforms are making retail so hard, because you have to have backgrounds to like read the numbers to really understand the data, or like the discovery platforms are so overwhelming. Like I already have 30,000 brands to review and they're providing me 100,000. So with the AI and everything happening, I just assume, okay, if the platform could be intelligent enough to help me understand the market sense, like what's happening with other retail, and just help me get an idea of like who am I working with and how do I stock my shelves, that will be nice. So that was my big idea, just using the technology, like relying, like catching up with how the world is going to be, and then like make retail easier and more accessible for everyone.
Got it. And by the way, I know you're like a superstar and all the brands are working with you, but for those that like don't know about Cohere yet, do me a favor, like in 1 to 2 sentences, could you explain the concept of Cohere? Because I think it's very unique, and I know we spoke about it before. But in 1 or 2 sentences, what is the not big idea, but what is Cohere at its fundamental core?
Yeah, so we're leading AI-powered B2B platform that's designed for retail. We help retail buyers to understand the reviews and ratings from other buyers and monitor the market presence for CPG brands. So that's the core of Cohere. Yeah.
Got it. And can you take it a step back? So how many years are you into Cohere?
We started this idea April of 2023. We launched our platform officially. Well, actually it's still beta, but like we launched the whole website and everything in June of last year. Yeah.
There you go. In those, what is that, 1.5, almost 2 years now, if I'm not mistaken, 1 or 2 years. In that whole process, in that whole journey, especially with, I believe, SaaS, I think you would qualify it as a SaaS company. What do you feel were some of the biggest wins for you guys coming up? Like, was there like a big investor, or was there a big moment, a big connection that like sparked everything off?
Yeah. Well, that's a really good question. As startup founder, we have a lot of ups and downs for sure. And the first moment is that we started to reach out to retail owners and buyers, and they started sharing their feedback on the platform. The first comment on the platform was exactly the biggest moment, right? Like somebody just found us, they shared their insights, and they connected with brands using our insights. Well, that was the first big moment. And the second one was Techstar. Like in the tech world, Techstar is one of the star accelerator. So it really changed our world to be connected with a lot of great founders, and also like exposing to a larger investor network. Yeah, so that was the second pivot moment. And the third one is when we met our current lead investor. He has great network and background in retail. He used to be in Target and all these big retail for like over 20 years. He support help us establish our foundation. Like, yes, we're doing something right. And he helped us connected with retailers like Target, Sprouts, and all these big names that we wouldn't be able to connect. So I would say those 3 moments are like where we reinforce our commitment to build Cohere. Yeah.
That's awesome. It must be a fun ride, no? It must be fun.
Yes.
Fun but challenging, I'm guessing, at times.
Yeah, of course.
So listen, I think one of the unique things about you is, and I'm pretty, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you speak to, I'm guessing, dozens, if not hundreds of like
Mhm.
owners and founders and all that. This is just my curiosity personally, but like when you talk to those founders, what's something that you consistently see in all of them that you feel as a SaaS company and kind of like a bird's eye view could help
Mhm.
them get into more stores, could help them get more positive reviews, essentially use the
Oh.
platform in a better way?
Um, well, every brand is actually different. So, but people are more curious. Like I'm lucky. I work with an industry that's really open to try new ideas, because it is hard to run a CPG. It is hard to run a retail. There's no single like source of truth. Like how your brand would succeed. Um, so so there's a lot of people open to new opportunity. But to answer your question, like I think most of the brands and retailers think current retail workflow is really inefficient. Like there's a huge delay in terms of like if you're connecting with someone, it could be months that you're hearing back. And if you're like launching into a store, it could take months to understand, okay, how did I do? How did I even do? Because there are many players like distributors that could also delay the process of the information exchanging. So yeah, I think inefficient is the biggest problem in the B2B retail. Yeah.
All right. And based on your personal knowledge, inefficiency, it is a big problem, but how do you think they could like fix it, kind of work around it?
I think with the knowledge of AI, like that brings a
Yeah.
lot of imagination. Like for example, we're working on tools to help retailers to streamline their vendor screening. Like they can set up their own criteria and like screen a lot of the brands. So like and brands like for some time they don't really just want to connect with a retailer and begging to get in. Sometimes they just want to know why I'm not getting in. So
Mhm.
like with our tool, we're hoping to get some instant feedback on the brands. Like, okay, if you're probably not gonna hear back, here are the reasons why. Maybe it's because your packaging, your ingredient. So I think that communication will help everybody to work more efficient. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Efficient. Okay. And right now, just taking it back to Cohere and what you guys are doing at the business, I think there's many stages in a business that there's usually one or two big things they have to chew on and focus on deeply. With you guys, it's a little different because obviously you kind of just exploded out of nowhere, and that's a comment, by the way. But as of now, even though you technically are in the earlier stages, with your current, unique position, what do you feel is like the one or two things you're just really trying to hammer down? Is it maybe customer acquisition? Is it product? Is it, hiring?
Yeah. I would say still focus on product and customer acquisition. Um,
Yep.
and build awareness. That's our goal.
In
Uh,
what way?
like trust, because B2B retail, like there are a lot of people, a lot of players that's like more than 30 years in business,
Yeah.
and we're young and new. And like we need to build credibility and a lot of trust in the industry.
Mhm.
So like hoping to tap into different communities, collaborating with people like you guys, to like showcase more value, provide like valuable feedback, or like some kind of trend insights for the brands. That's one of our goal. And also user acquisition. I guess a lot of people haven't heard of us. We do want to build a valuable tool as we're partnering up with bigger retailers. We hope more and more brands and smaller retailers will get to know us. Yeah.
Got it. And do you feel that that channel is going to be through maybe affiliates? Do you think, I'm guessing paid ads isn't the main
Mm.
source, but affiliates, advertising? Do you want to just build brand awareness, guerrilla marketing? What's the strategy behind that?
Yeah, we're still really focused on organic,
Mm.
like a lot of direct, and a lot of events, like partner with like naturally startup CPG and even like SKU, like other accelerators and stuff, by attending their events, providing some early access to like their brands. So like I think that's still our like first channel to customer acquisition. In terms of paid ads, like marketing, we plan to do in the future, but not yet.
Got it. Okay. So in the future, now that you bring it up, what are some of the things that you guys want to maybe add onto the platform, or you feel could transform the platform to something like next level? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we talk about AI assistant a lot. We're still like have a long way to go. Like right now it's a tool to help you streamline sourcing, but in the future we want to build like something that predicts a brand success, help you like see a problem in like early stage so you can prevent that. So still a lot of things we can play with AI. And definitely we're going to improve the platform for better like user interactions. I think in the past, well, just talking from a SaaS perspective, in the past, a platform is more like, oh, you do your own search and you're clicking on things, but in the future is more conversational, like it's more personal and customized to each individual user. I think there's a lot of things we can improve on that end.
Yeah, AI. I think AI is crazy nowadays. I mean, everybody says that, but I think it's truly insane. I was interviewing do you know Corey from Alia? It's like a
That
pop.
sounds familiar.
All right, so he's he makes software, also SaaS, Alia. And I was talking with him and I was giving the podcast. And then after I was like, I'm betting $100 that or whatever is big money to you guys. But I'm betting a lot of money that they're eventually going to incorporate AI, right? And I think you guys, that could be a huge move when you're looking at maybe 10 years from now, 20 years from now, even earlier, maybe 5. What do you feel? Well, I'll ask you this first. Do you feel that you would want to maybe sell out to a bigger company? And if so, how do you feel AI or different like technological advances now could help you get to the biggest valuation possible, if that is your goal?
That's a really good question. I would say like AI really enhances our workflow and make it easier to do a lot of things, but that's like not our eventual, like our core function is still like the users and the knowledges that they share on the platform. In the future, we do want to establish like a really standard retail score. Like for example, like you you have LinkedIn for your profile, and like for in the software world, there's G2, but then in the CPG world, there's no like a standard profile for everybody to like to evaluate, okay, their brand readiness for retail and stuff. And we want to be that standard. So like that's actually our long-term goal. But in terms of AI, it's more like a tool. Yeah, but you have a really great question. I guess as we discover, as the technology evolve, we'll implement a little bit more. Yes.
Got it. And do you, I don't know if there's like a sneak peek, but do you maybe plan to sell out in the future, or do you want to grow this into something else, or what's the plan?
Yeah, it's a little bit early for us to say because we're still seed stage. If opportunity comes, then definitely we're gonna exit, like combine with a bigger company, and that really aligns our vision. Yeah, but if there's a lot of great opportunity, we're not against just moving forward on ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you would be against the $1 billion check, right? I don't think that. Okay, that makes sense. As far as you, Lena, right? As far as what you like and what's your favorite part of the business, what's your favorite part about running Cohere, specifically a SaaS company?
Yeah, I think most of the SaaS companies, they're working with like developers and tech people. That could be a little bit boring, to be honest.
Wow.
Because those are really like developer driven. For me, I'm really blessed that I work with a lot of creative people, that's CPG and retail, like small business owners. Like everybody is really welcoming. And like to learn marketing from them. Everybody is like marketing genius, like have a beautiful story to celebrate. So I think that's my favorite part of Cohere, like working with CPG and retail section.
Got it. And then the other side, what's one of the things that may not be the most fun at times?
Yeah, I think it's B2B. I used to work with B2C, and that's a lot faster. Like you can see like consumers liking you and making a purchase. Maybe it wasn't successful at the end of the day, but you feel like, okay, like every day I'm building something real, that I have real followers that will fall in love with my physical product.
Yeah.
But working on a B2B SaaS, sometimes like a deal could work. You could work on a deal for 6 months and like not hearing back.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't really know where things are going. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's the worst part. Yeah.
Yeah, it's long. And do you think as a SaaS company, do you think it's more sales that's heavier in the focus? Do you think it's more marketing, products? Which one of the three?
It's a combination. Usually SaaS is more like product plus sales. But it's hard to say like which one you should focus on first, because you make sales, your product is not there, you're gonna lose the customer. If your product is perfect, you don't have any users, then that doesn't make sense. So like you have to constantly balance those two. For us, it's a little bit different because we need to really build trust. Like I mentioned, awareness is really important. Usually at the really first stage, it should be product and sales. And then as you move forward a little bit along the marketing and building the branding, that's really important. Yeah.
Got it. What's your favorite part about not only just the SaaS company and everything, but when you're talking to those founders or those CPG owners, what's your favorite time? Like, what's a good interaction? Do you have like a story of like an interaction that just like melted your heart?
Yeah, a bold idea. Like somebody is just really committed to build something that's valuable and like you can touch and feel in real life. I think that's amazing. I used to be an architect. It wasn't like it wasn't the easiest world work in the whole world, right? But like the moment that something is built is standing in front of you, that's really amazing. And I think it's the same for CPG founders. A lot of people had a great job, corporate job, and they want to commit and focus on building like a small product that you can find in your everyday life and just making somebody's life a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I think that's beautiful and amazing. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Do you feel now, as you're growing, do you feel it's maybe a little hard to lose that connection, that one-on-one connection you might have had when you first started?
I'm still keeping that connection. We're not at the point that I'm like getting away from the real user interaction. I think in the next year or two, I'm still gonna do that. Yeah, like be the customer success myself. Yeah.
Nice, nice. And with everybody else in the team, how big is the team, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
We have like 8 people, like
Nice.
mostly on the product side. Two like people assist me on the sales and marketing side. Yeah.
Okay. With it, we're at like random question. Do you guys like throw like Christmas parties or holiday parties or anything like that as a team?
We have it, yeah, because our team is all remote, so
All over the
we're
world.
not like locally in one place. So yeah.
You do the virtual coffee thing.
Yes, we
Yeah.
meet a lot. We're all friends, so yeah.
That's awesome. Now, as far as the future goes, right? What you want to do with the company, Cohere? You talked about it a little bit, but specifically, do you want to like transition the company to maybe another industry instead of just CPG? Do you want to do maybe? I mean, I don't know how it would work, but maybe e-com, maybe other types of industry as a whole. Do you want to kind of branch out, or do you want to just laser focus on this?
Yeah, in the near future, we're gonna still focus on CPG, but like food and wellness, food and beverage and wellness. So like fast consuming products.
Yeah.
And that's already a huge market.
Yes.
Yeah, and in the future, we could transition into like boutique home and garden. I think even just those sections are a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot to cover. Yeah.
Amazing. And then just kind of like a little bit more grandiose and whatnot. I always ask this in the podcast, but usually when any business starts up, I typically see that most of them have one or two things that to them comes very natural. It's easy. It's their strength. It's very good for them to do. For you guys, what do you feel was that maybe like the little magic dust for you guys when you got started?
Um,
Something you're really good at or comes easy.
yeah. Yeah. So I think connecting with people, like we are not sales or marketing people. So actually, both of the founders are a little bit introverted, but we're really like natural and authentic. I think that's how and we came. The idea came from a real like struggle from our life, and we are deeply obsessed with this industry. So I think the authenticity helped us attracted a lot of people and our first couple of paying users. Like
Yeah.
they, because they see value from us as people, and then they want to invest in us and support us. Yeah.
Well, people.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
One other quick question, right? I'm gonna take it. I know we went through the whole thing, pretty much the story, but I want to ask you, when you first started Cohere, for the people who don't know, I think it's a beautiful story. Could you share about how that started in the first place?
Oh, it was chaotic, to be honest. Yeah, we own stores and we have a lot of retail store owners. So our first idea was to set up mini like display sections in a lot of retail stores and have the brands like just place the products and try if they are going to work or not.
Mhm.
And have the retailers share performance feedback with the brands so that like it's like a launch pad for any e-commerce and D2C brands to get into the real world.
Yeah.
And we also interviewed a lot of similar companies. I think they still exist. Like you can basically rent a retail space and then try your product in real life. But it was chaotic because yeah, like all of the small business owners are running a million things, and this is almost the one last thing they want to care about. Yeah, so the feedback is slow, and the product's delivery time wasn't really consistent, and it was just really hard to get those two parts connected and get real value. It was a headache, so we tried it for 3 months, and then pivoted to our current idea. Yeah.
Nice. Beautiful. I know people are just gonna be like, wow, they gave us the sauce today. But final question I want to ask you. I'm gonna switch it up from what I usually ask, but for SaaS based companies
Mhm.
that want to start their own SaaS business that are have big aspirations, they want to do huge things, specifically for SaaS companies, what is the one or two things you might have wished you known back then that you didn't know, but you know now that you wish you could just give advice to?
Hmm. That's a really good question. I think we're lucky that before we transferred into SaaS, uh, we already got support from Techstar, and they told us, okay, sell before you even have a product. A lot of people don't know, and they build a beautiful product, and it's really hard to go to market, and you don't really know what your users need, right? And well, to be honest, we still have that problem because sometimes we build new features on our intuition, not really user feedback. But a SaaS product, like not just SaaS, like any product, you should deeply like connect with your users and really understand what they need and build something small, like even fake, like launching soon,
Yeah.
waitlist, to
Yeah.
really test that idea before you go ahead and invest in like any labor into that product. I think I deeply know, and I know before I started, but there are so many times I still get into that trap. Yeah.
So test with action with execution.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. Listen, Lena, it was an amazing time talking to you today. It was a pleasure having you. Thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah. It's a pleasure. Thank you.